Well, EJ Hogendoorn is the Deputy Programme Director at Crisis Groups Africa. He joins me now from Washington, D.C. So how critical is it now that this ceasefire holds? What's at stake?
Well, it's extremely critical that it holds for at least the next 3 days. As you mentioned at the beginning of the show, the people in Khartoum are desperate. There's a lack of electricity, water, food. They desperately need access to new supplies. Many people want to leave, and this respite will hopefully provide an opportunity for them to escape the fighting.
Is it possible that there could be some appetite now to reach a political settlement, or is that really some way off?
Well, it's always possible. I believe that the likelihood is the parties will continue to fight. It certainly seems like this is an existential struggle between the SAF and General Burhan and the RSF and General Hemeti. I would be surprised if the ceasefire holds for more than a couple of days. Clearly, more and more pressure needs to be placed on the armies to stop the fighting and go back to the negotiating table.
And how important is the US's role in all of this then?
Well, I believe the United States will play an important role, probably more so as a country that's able to kind of coordinate the activities of lots of countries that have stakes and interest in Sudan. As your viewers will undoubtedly know, there are a number of countries that have close links to different military factions within Sudan, and they all need to come together to help stop the fighting and to return the country to some kind of a transitional negotiated settlement.
And for those people who simply don't have anywhere else to go, how difficult is it going to be now moving forward in the days and weeks ahead?
Well, quite clearly, it's going to be extremely difficult. This is the height of the hot season in Sudan. If you're living in a city, it's going to be very, very difficult to get access to basic services. This is a gigantic humanitarian emergency. I don't think that we know yet the extent of it. There's going to need to be a huge international response. And I imagine that there will also be a very, very large outflow of refugees into neighboring countries and farther afield if and when people are able to.
And is the fact that internet connectivity is breaking down there, that can't be making the job any easier?
Well, it makes it easier for all sides, right? It makes it harder for Sudanese to understand where they can go safely and where they can find the dwindling supplies. It also makes it much, much harder for responders to act appropriately and to start to deliver to the neediest people in the city and those that have already fled.
Okay, EJ Hogendoorn, Deputy Programme Director at Crisis Group Africa. Thank you very much for joining us live from Washington, D.C.